So today we are going to talk about like Terraform. So as you know, right, Terraform is infrastructure automation tool. It helps us to automate the infrastructure creation, and it's cloud agnostic. So irrespective of any cloud, we can provision the infrastructure using some kind of configuration file, which are nothing but the .tf files, right? Uh, so today what we are going to see, we are going to quickly create a couple of resources in AWS using Terraform. So I think some of you have already joined previously my sessions and might have seen like how to create some resources, but today we are going to take like different resources. Okay, so let me share my screen. And okay, so first let me log into the AWS console and show you that in which region we are going to create our resource. So let's log in here. So as you might be aware, like I'm trying to log into AWS console. Sometimes, interviewer asks like what resources you created using Terraform. At that time, we should be able to explain them. For example, you can say that I have created EC2 instance or S3 bucket or VPC, right? And like you should be able to explain like how you created, what kind of configuration files you wrote, and yeah, so all those things. And first of all, like if you get that hands-on experience, you will be confident enough to explain them. So let's see. So as you can see, right? So this is VPC directory right now, which you can see, right? So if I expand this VPC directory, I have something called as modules folder where we have VPC module, and in that we have one main.tf file. And outside of this modules folder, uh, so anything which is there in the VPC, like VPC is a root folder basically. So what we are going to tell, like first, let me tell you that. So in these sessions, we are going to create a VPC in AWS cloud. Okay. VPC is nothing but a virtual private cloud. So that we are going to create in AWS using Terraform. So this directory, which is VPC, is nothing but the root directory. And within this root directory, we can have modules, as well as our main configuration file, we can keep it here. Okay. So right now, if I show you this main.tf, it's good practice, to provide this provider in the main configuration file. Okay, so I have provided it here, and from this main configuration file, we are calling my VPC module. And where is this module defined? So you can see in the current dot means it's in the current directory, which is of that VPC. And in that we have this module directory, which is this module. And in here we have this VPC module. Okay, and it's referring all the configuration file from this subdirectory. Okay, and VPC CIDR block. So basically we are passing this uh, CIDR block to this module. So let's see how it is defined, this module. So you can see here we have defined that VPC resource. So this is AWS VPC is the type of that resource, and main is the name of that resource. Okay. Uh, and here few things are defined, like here we have given name to that VPC, cider block. I mean, what subnet or what IP address range it is going to use, so that we have defined it here. So this is nothing but an argument, and it is taking value from this variable sections, which is defined here. So if we don't specify anything in here, or if we don't pass any parameters from here, so it is going to take basically default values which will be specified in the variable sections. Because see here, what name we have given to variable, it's nothing but VPC cider block. And what name we are passing from this main file, it's also same, like VPC cider block. So basically, in a sense, we are trying to override whatever default value is there here, right? Okay, so default value is this, which is 10.0.0.0, and what value we are going to use is like 10.1.0.0. Okay, so yeah, and we are also trying to create internet gateway. And like how we have called this module, I think I showed you here, right? So this is how we have to call this module, and we can pass some parameters to this module. So let's see in the practical, like how we can create VPC. Okay, first you need to be in that directory. Where is your like root directory of Terraform, where you have that main configuration file. For example, our main configuration file is this one. Okay, so we need to be inside that directory. So first let's identify that directory. So and change your current directory to that directory. Okay, so now I'm into this VPC directory, and let's try to okay, but before that, did we log into the AWS console? Yeah. And let me go navigate to the VPC section. Okay. So if I click on VPC, and you must have seen like we are in North California here, right? The region, I mean, which is US West 1. And if I click on the VPC sections, so how many VPCs you are able to see? Only one, right? So, and it's nothing but I think a default VPC. Okay, so what we'll do now, we'll create our own VPC using Terraform. What I will do in the end, maybe if we get a chance, we'll quickly take Q&A. For maybe 5 minutes or something. But first, let's try to do this practical of creating VPC. So Terraform init we have done. So it has basically downloaded the plugins needed to interact with AWS. And now let's try to see like what things we are going to create using Terraform plan. Okay. Yeah. So it's saying like two to add means it will create two resources. And what resources? Like one will be, see here, you can see module dot myvpc. So this is your name of your this block, basically module block, module dot myvpc. And from that it's saying like AWS Internet Gateway. Where is this AWS Internet Gateway? See here, this AWS Internet Gateway dot main. So this resources will be created. It's saying this thing, and what again it is saying, it will create module.myvpc.aws aws vpc.main. So which is AWS VPC is a resource type, and main is the resource name. So it is saying it will create these resources. So let's run Terraform apply command and see if it creates these things. Before that, just let's quickly see if we have internet gateway created or not. Okay, so we don't have, so we only have this default gateway. Okay, so let's run this command. it will ask basically you like a confirmation if you want to create these resources or not. So you just have to type yes, and it will create these resources. I mean, this was just a basic example of creating VPC using modules and Terraform configuration files. So you can explain these things as well. Like I have created VPC in your interview, like I have created VPC or EC2 instance. So these things you can explain. So let's see like if it has created internet gateway or not. So if I refresh this page, so see it has created one more internet gateway, and let's see VPC sections as well. So it has created my VPC, right? As you can see. So let's click on that. Yeah. And if you go to the tag section, so keys name and value is my VPC. And let's check the CIDR as well. So you can see here what IPv4 it has used, 10.1.0.0. So if I take you here, so whatever from whatever values we are passing to this module, it has taken this in effect, and it has not used the default actually, which is this one. Okay. So like if we are not specifying any values, so it will take basically default thing. Okay. So this was about like quick demo of like how we can create a resource like specifically VPC resource and internet gateway using modules in Terraform. Modules is basically like a reusable piece so that you can create so you can have a modularity of your code. You can make code reusable. So let's say if you have like huge infrastructure in cloud or somewhere, and you don't end up in writing a huge Terraform configuration file, right? So you can write your module once and reuse it multiple times whenever you need that. So this is how you can do that. So similarly, see right now we have a VPC module. So similarly, you can create a module for EC2 or S3, right? So yeah. So now I think what we'll do, whatever we have created, we'll quickly destroy that using Terraform destroy command, and then we'll head up to the Q&A session. So it will again ask you for a confirmation if you want, if you really want to delete the resources or not. So it's saying a refreshing state. State means like Terraform always store the current infrastructure information in a state file, which is nothing but terraform.tf state. So let's provide that confirmation. We really want to delete those. And Terraform will destroy those infrastructure. So yeah, this was about it. So let me unmute you all so you can ask your questions. Just give me a second. Where is that option? I'll stop my screen share. So are you able to unmute? Can anybody confirm in this chat?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, if you have any questions or concerns, so maybe you can ask.
We need this recording actually 2-3 times, then only we can
Yeah,
refresh
you need
and
to practice. Yeah.
practice. Yes,
I'll
yes.
definitely
It's
share this
required.
recording. Yeah. Anybody, Gajanan, you were asking, I think something. You can
Yeah,
go ahead.
can you share that screen and show me the code once?
Okay. You want to see? Okay, sure. Yeah.
Is it first class for Terraform today?
Uh, so see, this is a basically a demo class. So yesterday I have connected with few members. So like I connected with Shishir yesterday. So we have seen like how we can create EC2 instance. Okay. So today we are looking like how we can create a VPC in AWS cloud. Okay. Does
Yeah,
that
so
answer
my
that?
So will
Yeah.
tomorrow will tomorrow another session?
Maybe I'll connect with you separately, Gajanan, for that.
Okay.
My name is Dipesh.
Oh, Dipesh, you are asking this? I thought Gajanan was asking.
So basically, I joined today and it is first class for me.
Okay, no problem, Dipesh. So, did you get some idea at least from these sessions? Was it helpful?
Sorry, I was not aware, right? So I got
Oh,
your message, right? So I
okay. So,
recently.
but like at least you come to know that Terraform is used to create some resources or services in AWS cloud. At least that idea did you get?
Yeah, yep. I know.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, like we can like this sessions are going to be repetitive. Like if you are interested, you can join and you can get some values out of it. I mean, yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Any other question anybody is having? Maybe related to this technical Terraform, these things or anything like how we have
Yeah,
used a
Yashwant.
variable or anything. I mean,
Yeah, Yashwant. This is my first session, so I wanted to know the variable resource and the provider. They are kind of data type here.
which one?
The provider in the starting, the provider is equal to AWS. You sure? Yeah, that
Hmm.
one.
See, based on the whatever provider we are going to use, so whatever resource type we are using here, for example, in this main.tf, so we have used AWS VPC as a resource type. Again, we have used AWS Internet Gateway as a resource type. So why we are getting this? Because so those are will be available under this provider, which is AWS. So let's
Okay.
say if I would have used Azure RM here instead
Hmm.
of AWS, so I
Hmm.
would be able to use only those resource type which will be Azure specific. Okay. So this is
Okay.
very essential for you to provide, I mean, mention here like provider sections in your main.tf file.
Okay.
Okay. Otherwise, it will not work. I mean, you will not be able to connect and use the resources.
Is there any link or site where we get the resources based on the providers?
Yeah. There is a link which is called as terraform.registry.io. Okay. Wait. Or let's simply search Terraform registry. Okay. So this one, sorry, registry.terraform.io. Okay. So here you can find all the details. I mean, you can browse providers, browse modules. So all those things. So for example, if I click on this, you can see, right? So different providers are there. I mean, so let's say in our case, we are interested in, for example, AWS or Azure, right? We can check that. So here AWS is there. So if I click on this, so documentation sections we can explore. So for each and every service you can see, I mean, so for example, let's check for example, CloudWatch. Okay. So how we can create that, you can find it here and you can try out, I mean, okay. So you need to remember this site registry.terraform.io or just keep on exploring. That will help you. Any other
Okay.
question that you have maybe?
Yashwant, and can you please and say something on state files? And you just mentioned that is regarding due to taking the backup, right? So can you please and explain that state files?
Okay, state file is basically, okay, let me share my screen again. So state file will store the your I mean it will hold the information of your current infrastructure. Let's say we created VPC in AWS cloud, right? So whatever the current state of your infrastructure is there, so that will be stored in some file called as terraform.tf state file. So right now this state file is in my local machine, but when we are working as a team or when we are collaborating as a team, so this state file is stored in some kind of remote backends. For example, if we are working with AWS, it's stored in S3 so that team members can collaborate and work with the state file. I mean, and what is the use of state file basically? Let's say, uh, for example, I think, okay, let me show you this resource which we have, VPC resource, right? So today I kept a name as like my VPC, and like after some time, I don't want this name. I want to change the name. So I'll update in my configuration file or this main.tf file. So what Terraform will do, it will check the I mean, it will check this configuration file, and if it found some deviation with respect to the state file, it will understand that, and it will try to update or do the changes based on that. I mean, so that is the purpose of state file. Does that answer your question? I think Sam, right?
Yes, Ashwin. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thanks. Any other question? I think if no question, then we can maybe close for today. And thank you all for your joining. Yeah, thank you. It was a really good session. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, Ashwin. Yeah.
Thank you.